So I'm going to introduce you to our guest speaker. Very excited to introduce James Murphy to you, or Murph. And he is a keen activist for marine environments and marine conservation. So he's actively committed and extremely passionate about leaving the marine environment and tourism industry in a healthier state for the next generation, his two young boys included. So he's an ecotourism operator, an environmental innovator, a conservation crusader, a research leader. The list goes on and on and on. We have Murph here sitting live out on a boat. Really excited to introduce Murph to you. I will stop sharing my screen and we'll get on to Murph.
Hey, how you going?
Hi Murph, how are you?
Yeah, good. Thanks for the introduction. That was very, very kind of you. So so my name's Murph. I take about 8,000 to 10,000 people each year to swim with seals and dolphins down here in Queenscliff. We've arguably got one of the greatest jobs getting around, not only because we get to swim with this beautiful and just incredibly intelligent marine life, but because we get to share it with people as well. We've just got the bilge going off in the background. It's one of the other boats. And I suppose what I'd like to talk about are two things that have been really big in my life, and that's truth and choices. And I think it ties in really well. And what's important to understand, when I say truth, I don't mean truth that somebody told you something and that's true, so you have to believe it. To me, what truth means, that's something that you feel. When you're able to, if you spend a little bit of time meditating or doing yoga or, by yourself out in the wilderness, and even working with animals, you start feeling a lot more and you stop thinking as much. And when if you start feeling and becoming more in tune with your own systems and these larger energetic systems, you'll start to feel when things are right, and that's when I say truth, it's like what I mean is you've been drawn to something. And we got a school group in the background, the kids are going crazy. One of the things that I found really early on was that, yes, we were here taking people out with seals and dolphins, having this amazing time, but there was just this feeling that we had this incredible responsibility to do more. And when it comes to choices, we often will feel or have these feelings at all different points through our lives. But after you have that feeling, you also have a choice. And your choice is often, do I follow society's norms, or do I step aside? Do I walk my own path and follow whatever that truth may be? And what I decided to do was to follow that truth. And in that instance, it was all about doing more for the local environment, doing more to help people, but also to help support this beautiful place that supports us and is able to provide such an incredible lifestyle. So after a lot of talking, a lot of planning, we made the decision to found a not-for-profit. We call that Southern Ocean Environmental Link. And the whole purpose was to create a way to help fund marine research. We knew that there was, there's so many good people out there that just didn't have any funding, that didn't have any support. And there's so much information that people need to find out about and to learn. And as I said, there just weren't really enough revenue streams out there. So we thought, well, how can we help to create a system that will enable these people to do more? And as I said, that was a catalyst behind that. One thing led to another, and we were just sort of floating along as we do. And plastic recycling is something that is close to all of our hearts. Today we were out searching for dolphins with researchers, and we stopped to pull a balloon out of the water, a helium balloon, and we'd been on the water for an hour and a half, nothing, stopped to get the balloon, and literally where we stopped, a pod of dolphins popped up. And this is the way it always happens. It's, you make that choice, you follow that truth, and everything seems to come into alignment. And the alignment for the early days of Soul was someone introducing the concept of grassroots plastic recycling. Then we're servicing, probably 4,000 students a year, and talking about, the marine environment, the animals, and the impacts of plastics and so forth. So the concept of grassroots plastic recycling education just sort of made perfect sense. And since then, we developed Australia's, well, from what we can tell, Australia's first mobile plastic recycling education workshop. It is early days still. We've been running that for about 12 months. We've been able to service about probably 2,000 students. We've pushed about 2,000 students through, which is amazing. Using this stuff, we're breaking bottle caps down into little granules. I'm not sure if you can see them in there.
Yeah, we can. That's good. Yeah.
Those little granules, they get fed into machines that we've got that melt the plastic and then remold them. And we're able to make new usable items. So this is a pen, things like this, tea coasters. We've got a big, there's all sorts of different things. Got a big push at the moment too. We're making surf wax combs and donating those back to the local community. But what we're able to do then is through the education, we can, and we have been utilising that funding to then help support more conservation and more research projects. So we've been able to create this closed loop where we're educating, we're removing plastic from the environment, and then we're using the funds to then help support more conservation efforts, more recycling efforts, and to empower the researchers out there that are learning the things that we need to learn to help government decision makers make better choices. So, I started this with truth and with choice, and that's been my truth for the last 2 years. And the choices, in every instance, I've been working towards creating a cleaner environment. And it's yes, it's good for business, but it's not just that. I feel that we've got this responsibility. We're not the capitalist pigs that we're in this consumer society, yes, but there's so much more to what we are. I think the more you start connecting with what your truth may be, and you start making choices that allow yourself to become aligned with a greater purpose, then the more, I'll just wait, the bilge is going again. Sorry, it's just timber boats. The more in alignment you will become with everything. And, people are always worried about money. A lot of the time when you follow these truths, you make the choice to follow these truths and pursue something abstract, you'll shortly find that a career will follow it. So, yeah, it is incredibly empowering to be in this position that we're in. And, all I hope for is that there are more people out there that will see that there's more to this life than money. There's more to this life than doing these things that that society often tells us to do. We are a part of a large, unfathomable living system, and I really believe we need to protect it. So, yeah, I hope you guys can find what your truths are, and I hope you make the choices to pursue them.
James, thank you so much. We are so aligned because James has just spoken about truth, choice, responsibility, and doing, which fits in beautifully with our think, feel, act. And that's it, that if you have truth, you feel something, you make choices to do something responsible. That is wonderful. Thank you. We're going to let James go because you can see that's his boat in the background. He's about to take a whole lot of kids out on a dolphin tour. Lucky things that they are. But thank you, James, so much for sharing your story with us today.
Not a problem. Take care, guys.
Thanks very much. I'll go back to my screen.